of this conversation, especially the Orthodox Church, was very strong on mysticism. I've discovered this amazing Orthodox theologian who's written a 2-volume encyclopedia of Christian Orthodoxy, who's a parish priest in St Anne's in Lancashire in England, humble guy, and who's written a whole book on the Transfiguration, which is one of the most mystical passages in the whole New Testament. So I think we should sit calmly down at the feet of the mysteries and reflect and ask what is the purpose of life. You know, it's not, you can't answer that by, well, it's to kill each other, you know. No, it's life is life. Let's celebrate that. And, and I'm going back to the Bolshevism thing. So I've written a whole book about the esoteric roots of Marxism. And I discovered that people like Pierre Leroux, who lived here in Boussac, and even our friend Eliphas Levi and others were part of a 19th century tradition in France here of esoteric Christianity. Saint-Simon, great founder of New Christianity. That was the origin of socialism. They were mystics, but they wanted to apply it in society. Hegel was part of that tradition. They were called Leftigalians. Moses Hess and Marx himself in his youth. They wanted a new society that would be inspired by the Holy Spirit to create a community, which they call communism. And I think when I went to Moscow in 1990 and I met senior Russian philosophers, they told me, yes, Thomas, we've got freedom now under Gorbachev. We can talk to you freely and honestly. And we've, they said, we don't agree with all that Marxist, hardline atheist stuff we had to spout. It was just what we had to do. Deep down, we're all mystics. and they were trying to find a new way of getting back to esoteric roots of Hegelian thought. And early Marxist thought, and I still think that's a valid thing. And the French contribution was important. I'm reading Pierre Leroux's book Humanité at the moment, who talks about all this. So yes, mysticism in action. That was the point that Marx and Tchaikovsky and all these people were saying. There's apply wisdom in society, in helping the poor, helping solve the problems of humanity. So there's a lot of work to be done, I think. But anyway, let's shed some light on it from the divine level, shall we? Yes. Ha. Now. Okay. Voila. Which deity? Right.
I will took on the bottom.
You want the bottom one?
Yeah, I want to go to the
very depth.
No, not the last one.
Okay.
This one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So what have we got? Okay.
Great Spirit.
Excellent.
Vakantanka, is it?
Wakantanka. Yeah.
Vakantanka.
We love the Great Spirit. Thank you.
And the other one is Indra.
Yeah.
Indra.
So, well, I was talking about shamanic Christianity and originating in Canada and spending time in North America. I love the North American Indian religion, and I have met practitioners who've taught me. And when I pray, I often pray to Great Spirit, because to me it's one of the best ways to understand the ultimate wisdom. And Great Spirit is number 5 in the Major Arcana, who is the equivalent of the Hierophant in normal tarots. So this is the one who bridges between here and now and the infinite. And he comes in the form of the tobacco pipe, because tobacco is the the medicine that was given to the North American tribes, particularly, as a vehicle for reflecting on the link between our earthly lives and the divine. And Lakota Sioux is Wakantanka, means great spirit, they were a powerful nation, and they were brought this medicine of tobacco by white buffalo calf woman, the story I give in the details. Wakan means holy, and Tanka means great, so the great holiness is another way of talking about it, the great spiritual holiness. The Hierophant is the one that brings wisdom to us. So just as all the prophets like Moses or Christ, they have to come down from the mountain and then teach the people, or Buddha, he reaches enlightenment and he has to go into Sarnath to teach. So Great Spirit works through different prophets, and there's a lineage of prophets in the North American tribes. It didn't just finish, when Muhammad came or Moses or Jesus. There have been modern day, and there still are, American Indian sages. I met a few of them, profound people. And their job is to help counsel and guide and steer the tribes. So one of my favourites is Deganawida, who I think was probably one of the greatest of these prophets. And I give his story here. Who founded the Confederacy, the Iroquois Peace Confederacy in the Great Lakes region of Canada, Toronto, New York, Upper State, and so on. And it's still going. And I met people from those tribes when I taught in Oklahoma. They're profound teachings, these. And it's interesting, I was reading one of the grumbles against Trump and what he's doing. The founders of the American Constitution went and sat at the feet of the Iroquois Confederacy. How you resolve disputes is you come into the lodge and you all speak in turn, and you use the peace pipe, you pray, using the peace pipe. It's a prayer tool. So you pass the pipe around and you say a prayer. I've done this in ritual, talking of rituals. And when the person is given the pipe, they say their prayer and they take a smoke. And it goes round the group until everyone's done all their prayers. It's a most marvellous ritual. And when you do that, when you genuinely smoke the peace pipe with somebody and you do the prayers, animosity goes. And feelings of alienation, hatred, hurt, they go up into the smoke, I think, if our diplomats tried to get peace, like the Ukrainian, Russian, Gaza, Israel, used the peace pipe in ritual form, we'd get peace.
Yeah, but once they come back home, they have to
To stop smoking in it.
No, you're allowed to smoke ritually. I smoke ritually. I do peace prayers occasionally. I think tobacco is a sacred thing. I use it occasionally ritually, but I'm just saying we've tried everything else. Why not try the peace pipe ceremonies? Get some American Indian spiritual elders over to lead some peace ceremonies with these recalcitrant Euro-Asian people and teach them the path, I think it might work. Certainly, and Deganawida taught, there was a whole teaching that came with it, which was not written down, but it was embedded in wampum beads. So we know the teachings, and they're all about truth. Deganawida taught the path of truth as the way to peace. You have to honour the truth, learn the truth, accept the truth, observe the truth, hear the truth, present the truth, love the truth, serve the truth, live the truth, work with the truth, walk the truth, and be grateful for the truth. And that's a sequence of steps that are elaborated in the teachings. Each one is like a thing you have to learn how to do. which Deganoida taught. And if you do that as an individual or a tribe, you get peace. You know, and I think the problem, what we're seeing in world politics, is people that don't walk this path of truth. You know, I could name Brexiteers, and I could point at Netanyahu's and Putin's and Trump's, and none of them are doing the truth thing. And that's why we've got this chaos on the planet. So it's not only doing the tobacco ritual, it's learning the truth teachings as well. But anyway, thank you for calling that in. And then we've got backup. In case Deganoida and the team can't pull this off, we've got Indra. Indra's like the superstar of the gods of Hinduism. I love Indra. When I've been to India many times, and I've been to lots of museums, and I've toured around. What Indra is so exciting about is he was the original deity in the Vedic times, in the Rig Veda. He's the supreme god. You've all been taught God is three, Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. That's what we all learn in Hinduism 101. But no, that's not true. It's Indra. It was the original god. Now he's the thunder and lightning of the Himalayan, Vedic people and the serious yogis. And what I discovered when I went to Nalanda, which is where the greatest Buddhist monastery was, is that those early Buddhists in Buddha's time worshipped Indra. Buddha was brought up in a place called Kapilavastu on what is now southern Nepal in the Himalayas. And Indra was the main god. And Indra's symbol was the thunderbolt. And I realized that Buddha was an Indra worshipper who internalized the thunderbolt as enlightenment.
Thunderbolt?
The thunderbolt is, when lightning crashes.
L'étincelle.
That.
Okay.
And what our ancestors used to believe is that where it stops, there's something left behind as well. And in Tibetan art, it's made of bronze.
Yes, sir.
I have one.
You have one, yes.
Yeah. That's the thunderbolt. It's called a Vajra. And that was a symbol of Indra's thunderbolt. So Indra is the god of Buddhism as well as Hinduism, and therefore of enlightenment. In the tarot, he's number 7 in the major arcana. So he comes, meaning the chariot in conventional tarot, because his vehicle is a chariot. He's always travelling about, throwing thunderbolts from the chariot. So he gets stuff done. We can't be passive anymore. The world is too screwed up. We have to actually do stuff, is what this card is saying. We have to, like our dear friend has just brought a chariot all the way back from Britain with a whole load of stuff, right? You've been driving your chariot, 800 miles?
Yeah. Third time lucky.
Yeah, you've done that 3 trips now. Yeah. And you know that to get stuff done, you have to actually, do it, and drive it, and that's the Indra energy that we need. And so if we're going to get peace on the planet, we have to start doing it, which is why I wrote the 99 Names of Peace. Each of those 99 projects need to be done to solve these problems, and it's not beyond human intelligence. And if I'm sick of people saying, oh, you can't do that, no, the military-industrial complex won't let you. Well, hang on, the thunderbolt of Indra is more powerful than all that stuff. Those are just warriors. I'm talking druid level of divine magic, which is formative and before the warriors. It's the level of Odin's work, or Deganoida's. So anyway, it's great. Yes, Plato said, talking of Indra, but of the heaven, which is above the heavens, what earthly poet ever did or ever will sing worthily? It is such as I will describe, for I must dare to speak the truth, when truth is my theme. There abides the very being with which true knowledge is concerned. The colourless, formless, intangible essence, visible only to mind, the pilot of the soul. Now, Plato is a philosopher and a poet. That's from the Phaedrus. The pilot of the soul is what abides in that highest heaven. And that's where Indra lives, in like a heaven palace. Indraloka, it's called, in Hindu and Buddhist thought. It's like heaven. And that's kind of the highest heaven. So that's what should guide us. And I think that phrase, the pilot of the soul, is beautiful. Because that's the charioteer in the card, the chariot. It's the charioteer that steers things. So there we are, folks.
The heavenly
Any
penthouse.
comments?
The heavenly penthouse.
The heavenly penthouse. Yeah. Up in the Himalayas. Good views, I'm told. Yes. Any final questions, comments? Ça marche? Excellent. Well, I enjoyed today. So thank you very much.
We did not make a peace
We
project today.
No, we didn't, but we talked about them.
Okay.
I think we've decided the peace pipe ceremony is our peace project for today.
Needs to be done.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Shalom.